I leisurely munched on a sweet potato, watching the other candidates struggle fiercely in the university entrance examination. The proctors were stunned, and it was no wonder. In my test area, the monsters were being annihilated by my summoned skeletons, each one capable of an instant kill. Just moments ago, the highly anticipated grand examination had officially begun. Candidates filed into the trial tower, and when it was my turn, the proctors at the top began their discussion. He's the rare class necromancer reported from Zhihai City. According to the rules for rare class magic users, let's pit him against monsters of the same type, but 2 levels higher. Instantly, a high-level mage monster materialized before me. The assessment countdown began, and the moment it ended, I activated my soul fire skill. In just 0.1 seconds, the monster was reduced to ash. The proctors were aghast. How can this be? An instant kill. There's no way to gauge the upper limit of his class. An elder then proposed a solution. Let's test him with the difficulty level reserved for legendary classes. A formidable level 20 test monster appeared. Again, a single soulfire skill was all it took to vaporize it. The elder decisively declared, "No further testing is necessary. Proceed directly to the second round." A broadcast announced, "The first round of the examination is now complete. 10,632 candidates participated. 5,200 candidates have qualified. Examination results are now public." Immediately, the scores appeared before everyone. My score of 0.1 seconds was leagues ahead of the rest. Wang Zihao, the vice president of the Dynasty Guild, scoffed, claiming I must have cheated to get such a score. Even I, looking at the rankings, considered if I should have held back. This score was terrifying. The broadcast continued. The second round of the examination begins now. Candidates must choose one of 3 difficulty levels. Killing higher difficulty monsters yields more points. Time limit 30 minutes. Wang Zihao, desperate to catch up to the top 3, chose Hell difficulty without hesitation. Xia Shui, knowing she wasn't suited for high-intensity solo fights, opted for the normal dungeon to win by volume. The second-ranked candidate, a stealthy rare-class assassin, chose Hell difficulty, confident in their close combat abilities. All the proctor's eyes were now on me, waiting to see my choice. Naturally, I chose the highest difficulty, Hell difficulty. My combat endurance was something even I was slightly afraid of. A level 13 elite monster appeared. I didn't even bother checking its stats. It was too weak. 2 of my skeleton warriors would be enough. One of them simply used a basic attack and instantly destroyed the elite monster. The only drawback was the 5-second refresh time after a kill. The proctors watched in disbelief. A skeleton that could one-shot a hell-level monster, and he could summon 2 at once. Meanwhile, Wang Zihao and his team were already sweating profusely from the effort, while I was simply enjoying my sweet potato in the test area. 30 minutes quickly passed. Wang Zihao collapsed, panting. "I killed over 50 monsters. First place is definitely mine this time." Excitedly, he checked the scoreboard, only to stare in disbelief. With a 5-second refresh rate, the maximum possible kill count in 30 minutes was 320. Yet, I had killed 301. Did he not even need time to kill the monsters? Even the principals were stunned. The prodigy Su Qianqing only managed 700 points back in his day. The third round of trials then began. Candidates may freely choose a monster boss of any difficulty for this assessment. I, once again, chose the highest level, the Hell difficulty boss. To my disappointment, the boss's attributes were lackluster. I hoped the next 2 rounds would offer a real challenge. My skeleton warrior unleashed a frenzied strike and instantly annihilated the boss monster. The proctors were shocked again, having never seen a summoned creature use a skill before. This round ended with my score still overwhelmingly in the lead. The broadcast announced, "The 4th round of trials will feature a significant increase in difficulty. Each of you will face 10 waves of attacks, with 10 monsters per wave. A new wave will refresh every minute, regardless of whether the previous wave was cleared. The final wave will be led by a boss. Eliminate all monsters to pass." "I'd like to see how he handles this," one proctor muttered. The elder, however, smiled. "I don't think this round will stop him either." As he spoke, I raised my hand and summoned 2.5 more skeleton warriors. Coupled with my soulfire skill, I could continue to leisurely enjoy my sweet potato. The sight was enough to give the proctors high blood pressure. How many hidden cards does this kid have? The other candidates were desperate for their skills to come off cooldown, yet this 4th round seemed effortless for me. Students watching the live feed congratulated themselves for wisely forfeiting this round. Qing Yang, seeing his chance, started narrating the story of me soloing the Nightmare Dungeon. As time elapsed, only 5 candidates remained in the arena, and the final wave of monsters was refreshing. Wang Zihao immediately used his trump card, Rampage. For 5 minutes, his strength and constitution increased by 500%, after which he'd enter a 30-minute state of weakness. Like a god of war, he began slaughtering the monsters. The proctors announced the results. 5 candidates passed the 4th round of trials. My score remained dominant. Xia Shui and a few others believed their performance was enough to get them into the capital academy. However, the proctor cautioned, "It's not that simple. Don't be complacent just because you're in the top 5. A poor performance in the final trial can still lead to elimination. You will be teleported into the conquest zone. Various types of monsters will be generated, with the initial wave numbering over 100, including elite, boss, and even head-level types. The conquest zone is divided into 5 phases, each with different point values. Killing a monster in the highest phase, up to level 19, grants 500 points. Once you enter, the proctors can only see your score changes, so unleash your strongest abilities. The next moment, I was transported to the conquest zone. The first batch of monsters had already appeared. I could only see their level, not their attributes. To my surprise, a single strike from a skeleton warrior couldn't instantly kill them. One strike is not enough? Then two. I immediately used the corpse explosion skill on the monster's body, instantly killing 10.5 monsters. Outside the arena, the proctors watched my score skyrocket, adding 500 points at once. Did he kill 10 monsters simultaneously? I decided to wait for the monsters to close ranks before using corpse explosion again, but I noticed the corpses here only lasted for 10 seconds before disappearing. Seeing this, I quickly summoned more skeleton warriors. 9.5 of them were just enough to draw the remaining monsters together. Once they were clustered, I triggered corpse explosion. The chain of explosions was non-stop, and my score shot up by another 4,500 points. The Elder Proctor was dumbfounded. What kind of class is the Necromancer? What is his limit? After dealing with all the monsters, I thought I'd have to wait for the next wave to refresh. Suddenly, countless fireballs rained down from above. I quickly ordered my skeleton warriors to shield me. When the barrage was over, I was face to face with a group of level 16 orc mages. I smiled calmly. My turn. I summoned 9.5 more skeleton warriors. This was more than enough to deal with these high-attack, low-health mage monsters. The fight was easier than expected. A single blow from a skeleton warrior instantly killed an orc mage. With the added effect of corpse explosion, dozens of monster corpses detonated simultaneously, turning the 100-meter battlefield into a death zone. In an instant, over 100 monsters died in the explosion, and my score increased by 6,000 points. The proctors were stunned. Did he really kill more than 100 monsters at once? His summons are already so strong. And now this group skill is this monstrous? They began to suspect my class transcended even the legendary level. The death aura on my battlefield intensified, signaling the imminent start of the second phase. 40 orc troops refreshed, consisting of 2 types: high health, high defense warriors, and high attack, low health archers. This combination would be nearly impossible for the other candidates to overcome, but for me, it presented little challenge. The proctors watched tensely. Historically, only one candidate in the Divine Xia Empire had ever passed the 3rd phase of the conquest zone. They desperately hoped I would pass the 3rd phase and break the record. My score surged by another 20,000 points. The proctors could no longer remain seated. Could he have already awakened a talent? If so, it would be a huge boon for the human race. If he could also awaken a new talent upon his 2nd class advancement, he would be a 1 in a million dual talent user. Just then, a faint purple glow emanated from the trial tower suspended over the Divine Xia Empire. A streak of dark purple light shot toward the tower, and a thunderous voice boomed from within. Audacious! In a flash, a massive golden hand reached out from the tower. The demon's clone sneered, "You can't stop me!" The two terrifying forces collided. Though the golden hand quickly crushed the abyssal demon's clone, the trial tower was inadvertently corrupted by the abyssal power. 3 powerful figures joined forces to try and purify the tower, only to find it would take at least an hour. Their greatest concern was the candidates taking the exam inside. Suddenly, the monsters on my battlefield vanished, and all candidates in the conquest zone were teleported together. As we puzzled over this, a man calling himself Bayan appeared above us. Everyone screamed, "It's God Bai! He's descended upon the examination!" The proctors, however, understood what his appearance truly meant. Something was wrong with the conquest zone. Indeed, God Bai informed all the candidates of the situation. A demon from the abyssal world has invaded the conquest zone to assassinate the talented candidates of the Hua Xia Empire. We estimate it will take an hour to repair the spatial rules, so you must ensure your survival during this time. The proctors panicked. This was clearly an attempt to utterly destroy the future of the Divine Xia Empire. Most of the candidates were terrified. The weakest abyssal demon was level 70, impossible for them to fight. I, however, wasn't overly concerned. If a level 70 demon truly entered the conquest zone, we'd all be dead in minutes. Godbai wouldn't bother with a warning. The invading demon's power must be suppressed. A candidate pointed skyward and shouted, "They're here!" A blood moon hung over the conquest zone, and wisps of abyssal energy poured out. All the warrior classes rushed to the front line. "If you want to touch our teammate, mates. You'll have to step over our corpses first. A corrupted orc warrior let out a sinister laugh, worthy of the divine Xia Empire's geniuses. Too bad, none of you will survive today. When the candidates saw the monsters were only level 19, they breathed a collective sigh of relief. Thank goodness they can't break the Conquest Zone's level restriction. But as soon as the words were spoken, a huge, dark horde of abyssal corrupted monsters spilled forth from the blood moon. Xiaoshui grabbed my arm tightly. There are so many. Can we handle this? I gave her a calm smile. It's troublesome, but if this is all they have, I can manage.